Hello everyone, my name is Brian and my team members are Derong Chen and Xi Cao. Firstly, the leader I wanted to show you guys is Steve Jobs. The first part is about his personal biography. Some important information needs to be understood. Jobs' parents gave him out of adoption because they were American graduate students. A fight against cancer for Steve Jobs began in 2003 and during the May 2004. He announced to his staff, although questions about his health in the public domain began in 2006. When he founded the Apple computer, Jobs was 21 years and he operated from a garage that belonged to his parents, who they lived in California. The second part is about the leadership theory. The current categories for behavioral leadership theory will be discussed in the application of the theory to Steve Jobs. The charismatic leaders always want to control the people they are leading. Certain situations show that the leaders encourage opening from their followers as a form of motivation, only to conquer them through persuasion, thereby maintaining control. After that, the third part is focused on the application of the two theories, the behavioral and charismatic theories to Steve Jobs. In 1997, when Steve resumed to his post at Apple, the firm has a random assortment of peripherals and computers, which entail diverse prototypes of Macintosh. He reviewed the sessions and called for meeting to reduce the overwhelming number of peripherals and computers to 4, focusing on a small number of products helped the computer grow. For people to feel included in decision making, Jobs made employees in the computer come up with a list of solutions to a certain problem. He would then encourage them to choose 10 most effective solutions and write down on the whiteboard, and then cancel out the last 7 of the top 10 options. Only 3 of the solutions will be implemented in the company. This way, he encouraged simplicity in everything. Everyone was doing well at the same time, encouraging their contribution. Jobs allowed the personnel and other innovators to share in his vision and used charisma to sell his ideas to the followers. He believed that the best transformation comes from encouraging the employees' ideas and helping them implement them. This way, he created dimensions of change-oriented behaviors that include an idealized influence, inspirational motivation. And meanwhile, the Jobs return to Apple, enabling the company to focus on full products and simplified and innovation made by his team through persuasion. He admired simplicity which he learned as he worked the night shift at Atari when he dropped out of college. Atari's games had no menu, that needed to be less complicated for a stone freshman. Hence, the instructions for games such as Star Streak were simplified. Jobs of control was inevitable in the face of decision making in the company. He dominated every leader through the art of persuasion, and eventually had the best decision implanted. Although some people say that it's hard to work under the hands of control freak, a Saxon knows that such kind of people are perfectionists, has given the best quality of work. Throughout the production process, the jobs considered the best policy is to consider the quality of products before looking at the end profits. This is evident from his first innovation of Macintosh in the 1980s, where he aimed at making it great and never spoke of maximization of profits. He believed that once a product is highest quality, and then it would attract consumer satisfaction. He has maintained the business going concern principle. Jobs during one of the retreats he took his team was faced with a question on whether they should carry out a research to find out what the consumers want. He simply said that there is no need to because consumers don't know what they wanted until they are shown, and he invoked Henry Ford's ideology. Steve therefore discouraged the focus groups and encouraged innovation within his team for better products. The aim was to maintain control and not to lose focus on the vision of the company. Okay, my part is finished. Next, pass to the zero.
Hello, Professor. This is Zhong Chen. My teammate is Brian Zhao and Xi Chao. My analysis subject is Adolf Hitler, who had dramatically changed the structure of the world in the history of modern civilized society. He made Germany reemerge after World War I, promoted the development of science and technology of European powers, and created modern weapons such as missiles to promote the construction of the highway network in Germany to improve the living standard of Germans. Reduce unemployment rate, the promote rapid economic development in Germany. His soldiers' might is strong as iron. However, he made a lot of outrageous, savage crimes, which are undeniable during the World War II. To be critically regarding all these crimes he had made during the war, there are many things we can learn with the leadership perspective. How did Hitler gain support? First thing first, how Hitler can motivate his forward support. This was all because of his transformational leadership skills. In the Book of Berlin 2012, Leadership Chapter 7, he has described the transformational leadership, and here I quote, "It is now generally accepted that 4 different behaviors: idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulations, and individualized considerations constitute transformational leadership, whereas laissez-faire, management by exceptions, and contingent rewards fall under the rubric of transactional leadership." Secondly, from Hitler's life stories, we know that he was a high self-esteem, self-motivation leader. Started with an ordinary family, with an unhappy childhood, built his determined mind, and step by step till he became the leaders of Nazi Germany. The end game of his work, suicide in the basement of his office, also expressed his high self-esteem and never accept the failure. Last but not least, From all the speech he had given and all moves he had made during the war, we can infer that he is an extremely confident person, and this confidence will also affect his followers. So with all these extraordinary leadership skills, why would he lose at last? It's because that he made many significant leadership mistakes. And here I listed the most serious three. First is his narcissism. He is a stereotype leader and overestimated himself and underestimate of the others. From the two words that he had made, we can see it. Normandy landing and Battle of Stalin. These two battles directly covered the war. Before these two, many of his advisors had suggested him, but he wouldn't listen. This caused him let his major army stuck in the winter of Russia and let the United Army of British and French come directly to Berlin. Now please flip to the next page. And this is all about another mistake he had made. Lack of diversification. In his mind, he believes only the German people are the best. Others are second class. And he had serious discrimination against the Jewish. Not talking about he had killed 6 million of Jewish people in the war and tried to assassinate the world's famous scientist, Albert Einstein. Einstein became a refuge of the states and helped America build the first nuclear bomb, which twisted the World War II. And the last page is all about the savage sin he had made. The notorious camp, the Auschwitz camp. In this camp, he used the Jewish people to do the human body tests, which are brutal and inhuman. This photo records the massacres of Jewish people and all the crimes that Hitler had made. All this shows that Hitler was a low ethical and low empathy leader. And caused him lost his people's support gradually. Conclusively, with all these typical leadership mistakes he had made, he eventually lost the support and World War II. That's it.
Hello everyone, this is Xi Cao. Thanks to Zerong and Boran for their excellent analysis. Let me compare and summarize below. According to Zerong's analysis of Hitler's behavior, we are more inclined to attribute Hitler's leadership to a pseudo-transformational leadership. There is a difference between pseudo-transformational leadership and transformational leadership. The difference is that leaders place personal interest above collective interest. Pseudo-transformational leadership can motivate followers while ignoring their happiness and independence. Hitler's pseudo-transformational leadership was instrumental. According to the working definition of leader, leaders ask their followers to do something they wouldn't otherwise do, and retrospection will think that it is their idea. For example, Hitler's followers showed spontaneous madness when persecuted the Jews. At the same time, Hitler's leadership behavior does have the attributes of the transformational leadership. He successfully turned people's attention from internal contradictions to external contradictions. He encouraged and convinced people to do their right things was to build a mighty Germanic empire. About Jobs, we think his leadership belonged to the category of charismatic leadership theory because Jobs focused on product innovation. He adopts the participatory leadership style to encourage innovation, share vision, and promote interconnection. Charismatic leaders use impression management to cultivate relationships with group members. Similar to Hitler's leadership, Hitler's charm also attracts many followers, including provision, ambition, and commitment. The difference is that Hitler's ignores tolerance for diversity and distorts dark features. Historically, both leadership styles has been useful. By comparing them, we believe that morality of leaders is the first step for leadership. Finally, the discussion questions we want to ask are: should leadership be enforced when the feature of the leadership cannot be guaranteed? The second question: how can we prevent the Hitler's case from repeating itself? The